Welcome to episode 26. Two are better than one. The next night, Christine waited for the bell to ring. She had rung Michael Saunterton the evening before because she was concerned when she got home that her attitude hadn't been one of gratitude. Truth is, she'd been so overwhelmed by what seemed to her to be proof that her daughter did not die in the plane crash. Her heart had felt as if her whole body was overtaken. When she came home, she almost skipped up Fisherton Street as she walked through the city centre. Her feet didn't seem to be touching the pavement, and a massive load seemed to have been removed from her mind. As the day moved on, though, the next day, she'd come down to earth a fair bit, and felt she had shown Mr. Saunterton the least gratitude for bringing the very best of news. So she was glad she'd rung him the night before to express her appreciation, and he'd told her that it was nothing. The picture had been sent to him, but unusual for him, he made a rash promise. He would help her find Belinda, whatever it took. He would be there the next night as early as he could, with the desire that they make definite plans. So now she was sitting waiting for him. Christine, for her part, had offered him an invitation. Can we talk while we eat? Because if we can, I'll cook you dinner. Michael had gratefully accepted and added, I eat anything. Just don't go to a lot of trouble. By which he really meant don't go to a lot of expense, but he didn't want to put it that way. It was a strange feeling that filled Christine. She knew this meeting was all about finding Belle, but it was years since she cooked for a man of her own age. As she felt it was all mixed up, like a young girl on her first date, nervous, anxious to please, worrying about her appearance, her Wiltshire accent, the state of the house, and worst of all, her cooking. All unfounded fears. Michael drove his dark blue 1984 Saab 900 Turbo into James Street and parked. He soon found the number and hoped the wind and the rain was not spoiling his appearance too much. He had to go back to the car and collect the bottle of wine he'd brought. He was hoping it was not the wrong thing to do, but if Christine was cooking the food, he wanted to bring something to contribute. When the doorbell rang, Christine would have sworn it was louder than usual, making her jump even though she was expecting it. As she opened the door, she took in just how handsome Michael Saunterton was. Come on in, Michael, out of that dreadful weather. Michael entered as he stood in the hallway. He started to remove his shoes. Please don't do that, she said. But my feet are wet. Michael, one of the lessons I learned in Ireland is that people are more important than carpets. Keep them on. Food's going to be about 15 minutes. Do you want a coffee while you wait? I only have instant, I'm afraid. Instant will be fine. It arrives quicker. As Christine brought them both the coffee, she asked, how was your day? Productive, rewarding, satisfying. He handed her the wine. You do partake? Oh yes, how kind of you, you shouldn't have. I've some nice things to share with you from the university, but I'll chat about it when we eat. Okay. I really appreciate your coming. And I appreciate your cooking. Was your day okay? Oh yes, I've been trying to keep my feet on the ground a bit better. I'm very excited about the photograph, but I also have to face reality, and for me today that meant cleaning the solicitor's office and then going to work as a waitress at the Cross Keys. Do you know, Michael, it's not just me. Everyone at work was cheered up because of the news about Belle. One of the solicitors, the older partner, well, he usually arrives as I leave, but my boss at the Cross Keys knows him. In fact, he got me the extra work there. Well, he phoned him, and while normally all I get in the mornings is, good morning, Christine, he called me into his office and he told me that he was thrilled to hear the news and that he would do anything he could to help. That's brilliant. Who knows what help we may need. Oh, here I go on rabbiting on. I'd better serve up his food. I hope you like roast chicken. Beautiful. And it was. Roast chicken with all the trimmings. Michael was glad when he saw the size of the helping. He hadn't eaten since lunch and he was pleased about that. This was a delight and far better than his own cooking. He poured the wine and he began to tell her, I was with the group of students that I taught with Belinda. I had a chat with them, and when I shared the photo they were ecstatic. One lad, Jamie Granger, who's a bit of a hard case actually, asked what they could do. I said that getting Belle home might cost a bit, and by the evening he'd formed a group called RASB. Christine looked confused. The what? The RS for the RASB, Rescue and Support Belinda. They've elected a committee, and after talking to the Students' Union, they hope to start raising cash with a dance a week tonight. That's very good of them, Michael. Well, Belinda was a popular girl. They were all so very heartened by the news. So it was a good day. Well, on the advice of my boss, I went to the police station. They contacted the embassy for me, but honestly, I don't expect I'll get much of a reaction. And that's a pity. Have they not been very helpful to you? Well, yes, the folk at the Brazilian embassy have been brilliant. Trouble is, though, Brazil has got its own problems. As one official told me after the initial search was over, they've got drug gangs, shootings every night of the week in the cities, people who are poor. The poorest make, he said, our poorest make your rich look rich. It's hard to play hunt the thimble, as you say, he said, in thousands of miles of rainforest when we don't even know where to start, and when we've got limited resources. How do you feel about that? Well, at first I felt kind of angry inside, but when I calmed down and came away, I could see they've got a point. Chrsitine, this meal is an absolute treat. Thank you, Michael. Well, I've got back to Ahmed, and he is using his connections to gather any information he can. What I propose we do is this. I finish for the summer on July the 11th. I propose that you and I go out to Manaus in Brazil and go and find Belinda. You are serious, Michael. I'm as serious as a judge. You and I both believe Belinda's alive. You want her back because you have a mother's love for her daughter. I want her back because she's the most interesting and pleasant girl I've had the pleasure to work with at the university. Now, what practical problems does that make for you, Chrsitine? Chrsitine sipped her wine and watched Michael over the top of her glass as he cleaned his plate. Well, there is work. I don't want to lose the jobs I have, but I will if need be. Michael's eyes met hers. I was thinking about that. There's a student from Salisbury in her first year, and she might be glad of a summer job. She could perhaps cover for you. Maybe possible both jobs. Your bosses seem keen to help. Chrsitine put the glass down and smiled. You think of everything, don't you? I don't know if my colleagues at the uni would all agree with that. What else? I don't have a passport. Michael looked surprised. You don't have a passport? I never needed one, Michael. When we were in Ireland, my holidays were visiting my father here, and since we came back, well, we haven't ever had much money, but it's been visiting relatives over there. Well, I understand that. You better apply for one tomorrow. Are you okay for money? Sorry, I don't want to embarrass you, but we have to plan. I can afford a passport, I'm sure, and I'll borrow what's needed to get to Brazil. He looked at her thoughtfully. He didn't want to offend her or hurt her pride. He knew she was quite independent. Why don't we wait and see what our students of the RASB come up with? She laughed. Well, I'll apply for a passport tomorrow. How does apple pie sound for a second course? Oh, yes, please. Custard? It gets better. When she returned with the apple pie, he had the look of a small boy at a party. As he tasted the pie and the spicy taste with it, he said, "You're quite a cook, Chrsitine." "Oh, thanks. I wanted to cook as a career once." "What stopped you?" "Ha! I fell in love with Belinda's dad when he came over here to work as a builder. Before I knew it, we were married and I was living in West Belfast." He wanted to ask about that, but he didn't. He was amazingly wary about getting into a conversation about Ireland. He knew that lots of Englishmen had made lots of mistakes in that direction. Instead he said, "It must have been hard for you to be widowed so young." She smiled. "War is so stupid, you know. All over the world, men and women die for this cause or for that." "Thomas was a good man, really." Then, without wanting to get upset, she said, "Did you marry?" "No, I came close once or twice, but they very wisely married somebody else. I've good family and friends, and my lot in life seems to be helping other people's offspring to care for this beautiful planet better than we have." "That's why she was so special, your Belinda. She's so passionate about saving the planet." "That's her grandfather's influence." "Really?" "Yes, and that's why she went to the rainforest." "Well, I know that." To her surprise, Michael Sanderson insisted that they wash up the dishes together. He talked a little about his work and asked her about hers. It was strange that he found her job waiting at tables in the Cross Keys as interesting and intriguing as she found his lecturing in environmental sciences. As he left, he made sure that he invited her out for a meal 4 days later, just to talk over any further developments, Chrsitine. As he got in his car and before he started his engine, he said out loud, "This isn't just about saving Belinda, is it? It's about Chrsitine too." He drove out of Salisbury with the sound of Pink Floyd's "Shine On You Crazy Diamond" blasting from the car stereo. As Chrsitine Devlin undressed for bed, she said, "I thought knights in shining armour, riding to the rescue, were a thing of the past." She was so overjoyed about trying to find Belle, but she knew that in her heart something else was being stirred, and it scared her more than the idea of going to Brazil. So a little romance is brewing as well. Well, nice to share it with you, my friends. Thanks if you're still following this. I hope it's not getting boring. I hope it's still interesting to you. Nice to share it with you. Bye bye for now. Bye.